Jin Air Green Wings, Trap. Ocean Gaming, Special.
So I want Special to get out of the group badly, but as long as we get the third map here, I want to see these guys play all three of the weird maps right in a row.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we're getting these maps to start things off. Kind of unexpected. Yeah, you know, Special, he's had a very strong showing. We've known Special since he was a little kid. I know the first time I met him in person, I think it might have been the same time you met him in person the first time.
Yeah.
Was in China, right? We were in Chengdu?
2009 in Chengdu WCG Grand Finals. He was representing Mexico, of course, and we were commentating. Yeah, but I played with him for years before that. Always been a very talented young gamer, very hard-working one.
That's right.
Wonderful to see him doing so well right now.
Mexican.
I like it.
That's a good sign.
That's good, yeah, and he does like his mech. And boy, howdy, is he Mexican.
Is he ever from there? I'll tell you.
Yeah, he certainly is. Couldn't be more from Mexico than someone who was born and lived most of his life there.
That's right. So, yeah, we saw him at a very young age, and he's one of these players, although I think a little bit, different from TY, where TY was actually raised on StarCraft. His father really encouraged him to play. His father was a big StarCraft 1 fan. Juanito definitely grew up just grinding on StarCraft, and his parents were supportive of it, obviously in a different way. His parents weren't, sophisticated pros or anything, but, they have been supportive towards him. And it's cool. It's cool to see him out here, and he's continued to improve, and this is really one of the great RTS players in the world.
Yeah, it's totally awesome to see him having a great WCS, a great GSL run at the same time. For someone that works this hard and this long, very well deserved. So just a little bit of a Reaper scouting going on. Looks like we have the Twilight on the way, so probably just a standard Blink opening.
Now we've seen... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Artosis.
I was just going to say, there's a probe in a kind of funny location. I'm not sure what it's all about.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Blink openings switch from what used to be a very defensive way of approaching the matchup to now being very much so a aggressive, assertive build where you kind of come in there. You're basically forcing the Terran to respect and respond to the tech, and look who it is.
It's Pult. Pult's behind you. Turn around and look. Oh, he's there. I swear to God.
It's really cool to have Pult down here. He came and said hi to us.
They didn't believe me.
Yeah, Pult's right there in the audience. He came up and said hi to us for a second there. That was really cool to see.
Oh, he's an awesome dude.
Yeah.
It's so great to have him back in StarCraft. I hope he makes a big splash. I hope he makes it to GSL.
Me too. I would love it. That would be an honor to cast his games once more. To what I was saying earlier, now with these Blink plays, you're forcing the Terran to actually respect the Protoss. Terran were trying to do everything at once. We were seeing drop play and getting a third command center and teching up. And now with this Blink approach, it eliminates a lot of those options, or the Terran just gets killed. Now, one of the problems with this is that you're not usually defending against drops, but generally speaking, the Blink attack can do more damage than a drop if the other player is attentive to what's happening with that drop.
Oh yeah, if you move your probes, the biggest amount of damage that can occur early game is Hellions running in, right?
Right.
So that's the first thing, and then after that, it's like, well, even if a Widow Mine drop occurs,
it's going
to be two Widow Mines, and it's like you're gonna be able to minimize that damage.
It's definitely at second for most damage, but it's a very far away second compared to what the Hellions can do, and how quickly they can do it.
Always double digit if they get in. It's crazy. So right now, nothing wild happening, to be honest.
No.
The third command center is super quick here for Special, which is really, really nice because Trap is not getting aggressive with this Blink Stalker opening.
Yeah,
it's a very defensive Blink Stalker opening into a third base and a couple forges.
Yeah, I was talking about how he might try to get in the Terran's face because we've seen that a lot in this season, but apparently not this time around. 2 forges and a third Nexus, and defending is about as invested as you can be into late game as possible.
Yeah. Now look at Special here. He is going to end up going mech. He's got factories on the way right now. He is bringing up a few stalkers. This is somewhat for scouting. You can put on a little bit of pressure, so he's getting a little bit done, but Trap is not expecting huge damage from these 4 Blink Stalkers.
And behind this, we've got Charge on the way. So Protoss is going to have a very robust Tier 1 army. Zealot, Stalkers. We're going to see some more added in here, but for now, it really is just going to be the case. I love this Blink up here to try to just take the tank out, and he does do that. He won't lose any Stalkers in the process of this either. He'll be able to Blink out and be fine, but that's a great little play.
That is great.
Now, behind this, Terran is going to be ready for a push very soon here. We actually have 2 tanks coming out at a time, Artosis.
Yeah, I don't think he's... Is he going to push right now? I'm a little bit hesitant. Like, maybe he can because it's a Blink Stalker opening, but because he got the 3rd command, I feel like he's got a turtle for a bit.
Yeah, I might be wrong. I was thinking, just in my mindset here, okay, if it's going to be a lot of Tier 1, if he has enough tanks, maybe he could try to come out. I think if it had been an army that was like Immortals and other stuff. Whoa. He came up here and just immediately took out those tanks, so actually a push is not going to be possible anymore.
Wow, the 1 Adept pulling him down to his 3rd base makes him lose 2 tanks and then 6 SCVs.
That's the 3rd tank we've seen killed so far.
Yeah, so far Trap is really playing well against this. He scouted it early enough as well, so I don't think he's going to be too afraid. He's obviously not caught off guard. It'll be interesting to see where he wants to go from here. But so far, so good. Just reducing that siege tank count is gigantic.
Stalker's going to come around through the bottom here. The problem is that when the Protoss trades in a few Stalkers to kill tanks, that's a very good exchange for the Protoss. And that means that Special is just going to be a lot weaker later on when this attack comes out. Now this is going to eventually be chased away. Oh my god, he actually almost killed the command center.
That was close. Special waited to the very last second there, which is probably a good play.
You know, on paper... This Hellion's going to come in. I was going to say that on paper, the idea of those Stalkers ever killing a command center, that would never work. That doesn't mean it can't happen.
Yeah.
You know, and you saw he was just staying there long enough, and that's when Special scrambled to try to defend that. Now we're seeing almost like a StarCraft 1 style attack here, where he's going to try to drop Zealots onto the siege tanks in siege mode and bomb them, abusing their splash damage.
It's kind of all over the place, but look at this. This Hellion run by, the fact that he has now killed 18 probes with 4 Hellions, that makes up for a big chunk of the damage that Trap's done, that's for sure. Look at this. Like, look, right now Special's up 11 workers in a TVP going mech. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. We're going to try a little bit of Prism harassment here.
And, you know, this isn't actually bad. It's probably not going to do that much of anything. In a weird way, that disable probably actually helped the Protoss there, since that attack wasn't going to go well anyways.
Yeah.
But you know, not a bad idea to try to keep the Terran back home and defending, especially as Trap is taking a 4th base here. Keep in mind, though, guys, Juanito is actually outgrown army-wise Trap here.
Yeah.
Coming up here, he could push out, and it might be reliant on Trap to try to counterattack somehow and get defense somewhere else.
You can see some probes coming out right now. I think he's thinking about possibly, well, I think what might have happened there is he right-clicked on the minerals and the probe went the wrong way to get him or something.
But I think that's probably what happened.
I think he was bringing probes up to maybe mine out an area for counterattacks a bit better. But really cool to see that type of move starting to appear with a map like this.
Okay, the last cannon finishes up there. And we're waiting to see when Special's actually going to try to push out. There's already a 4th command center being made, so in fact, this may be one of those games where we get the boiling point is literally when either side can't make any more units.
Yeah. Well, it seems like Special is making that choice right now. I think he's going to be maxing out and hitting 1-1 at about the same time. So that might be a great push timing for him at that point. But Trap is getting into splash damage. You know, the splash damage could have been considered late, but it doesn't seem like Special wants to do any sort of push as of yet.
We've got a support bay as well as an additional robo coming down here. And I gotta say, this is actually overall a much more passive game than I thought we were gonna have with these two.
Well, it's really cool to see Special playing a very passive mech here. Like, the harassment he's done has done fantastically. It got a very surprising amount of damage done, but you know, it seems like he's pretty confident in the unit set that he's making and utilizing it in the late game.
Okay, we got an attack minute here, but the way that this army flowed out of there was really bad. Definitely a lot of hits there taken for Trap. Special takes his 4th base. Meanwhile, we have a Hellion drop. Over here in the main now.
Oh my god, and now Blue Flame is up, so he is going to get a lot of these probes. So he's going to get out of there as the Zealots come. Blue Flame, though, you can basically clear a mineral line even with cannons at it.
Yeah, good blink there to take that out. We have 2 Colossi at a time coming out here. What's your take on the Colossi tech against Mech here? 2 at a time with Thermal Lance.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think it just has to do with the types of units that Trap is running into. Like, he sees a group of battle mech, right? Kind of roaming around, and I think Colossus are okay against that. He has Psystorm as well, so the Colossus can help to zone everything out from the High Templars. And then if you try to actually dive on the Colossi, then he can use the Storms very effectively. So I think it's, like, okay. I don't, like, in general, I don't really like Colossus against mech, especially in the later game, but,
I think the Psystorm can be handy against the Hellion Cyclone group.
Yeah, I think Psystorm is really crucial against this army. But we'll see how all of the Colossus end up doing here. It's a very good-looking army, though, at the moment, to be honest.
You know, with this group, the mobile mech force over here, I don't know if there's actually enough that Protoss can do to deal with this directly here.
Yeah, he's got
auto turrets are going to come down here. Now we've got the Zealots and the Immortals that should be able to chase it away. But at that moment, I would imagine Special is going to try to move in here with the tanks and the Widow Mines.
You know, I think that even moves like this, though, are okay for Special.
Oh, yeah.
He's bringing up more army right now, and like Trap is playing a defensive stance here. Like, he's doing some good micro and everything, but as the siege tanks come up, this becomes harder and harder.
Great storm there. By the way, Protoss is taking a 5th base.
This is quite a flank coming.
It almost seems like Trap is just going to circumvent this playstyle. Oh, ho, ho! Great size storms there.
Oh my god, he just wrecks the High Templar.
Yeah.
So worth it right there for him. And this army's going to get cleaned up. Special is just bashing right now.
Yeah, meanwhile, these tanks are going to be cleaned out up here at the top, but that army there for Trap is going to be picked off. Kind of a problem here. I don't know that anybody can finish each other off, though. I feel like we're still watching this game steer itself into a larger and larger, longer and longer direction.
You know, I think you're basically right about that. Like, he definitely can't kill him. And in fact, Trap's supply is getting to be higher. But so far, Special's had some very good engagements. Look at how many Stalkers are being made. Oh my god.
I think Trap is actually going to try to pummel him here. Most of the siege tanks are actually on the ramp, so this area where there's command centers and the planetary, it's kind of exposed. It's kind of sticking out like a sore thumb.
Special is mostly making Cyclones, though, which I also find kind of interesting, right? Like,
yeah, I don't know if the Cyclones are going to be able to handle the Colossi necessarily.
It seems like a critical mass of siege tanks could be good there, but the thing is, Special really, he knows his mech.
The thing is, if you play around the siege tanks and don't attack them, then, you know, they can't be utilized.
Yeah. There are some maneuvering issues with that.
Yeah, one thing about the Colossi compared to most of the mech army, I guess minus Cyclones, is that it's just more mobile. Mm-hmm. You can get in there and start a fight, and the moment you don't like it, you just walk away.
And it's a big map, right? So that's definitely something you want to take into consideration, is you have a lot of time and a lot of area that you can walk around it. Oh my god, here he goes. He's actually diving in on top of Special right now. Special having to back up. Those Zealots buying a ton of time, and now the High Templars coming up and storming everything back.
I think Trap can actually just get in here. He still has so many more Psystorms he can cast down here. There's so many Colossi out. That number's now been knocked down to 2. But I mean, this is staying power. Am I wrong? I mean, you're not going to be able to kill this off immediately. Certainly not Immortals, Colossi, and now Archons coming in.
Yeah, those 3 Immortals are really worth a lot right now. But he has more units popping out of his factories, right? Like, I don't think he dies to this.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that he's got control over the ramp here means that, for instance, we're seeing it now. The Colossi are hitting the SCVs on the low ground.
But this is an expensive set of units. Like, he is going to end up losing them, right?
Well, he can walk right back out. And then if he wants to, he regroups, he'll walk back in, right?
He can walk wherever he wants. You know, it's his choice how to play this.
Oh my god, is the planetary going to go down?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
He just suddenly realized at the last second. But I think this is going to be too much damage. Yeah, it goes down.
Oh, that's brutal right there.
Ouch.
If he had started just before that, I think he could have saved this planetary.
That was a mechanical error, not a strategic one. I mean, he just didn't react fast enough. Yeah. Well, a lot of times, even though that's like the most important building, a lot of times a player will, you know, assume, okay, well, certainly that has enough HP. I don't have to prioritize that. And then in a moment just like that, we see that that building actually goes down.
Now, oh my god, great catch on these Blue Flame Hellions. But, you know, he might need a little bit more than that. He took a ton of damage from this attack. I noticed that Special now is going much heavier into Siege Tank, which it felt like maybe he needed before. But now he's got it. He's got 11 Siege Tanks, right? So that's reasonably difficult to engage,
yeah.
right? But the Trap is taking so many bases. He's all over the place.
Trap's playing so well, and I love
is.
the DTs coming in here. When you get a Terran stretched out this far, this is an excellent way to approach this, is to just start to cause enough problems, keep enough plates spinning that there's not much they can do. Like these DTs. There's a chance, yeah, look at that. 6 kills before Special is even able to respond. And I feel like Trap is getting closer and closer to actually having a closing fight.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like Special's on his last army. So, you know, if he loses it one more time, there's absolutely no way for him to remake it. It is a strong army, though. It needs to be so cost efficient. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible. It's funny too because like he took a bunch of damage in the early game, then he did some very good counter harassment with his Hellions.
Yeah.
And then he actually like smashed the first army of Trap for the most part. But I tell you, this backup push with the Colossus, it has done so much. It's really gave Trap complete map control. Now look at this beautiful move, utilizing those Blink Stalkers to get the Prism in. Really nice.
Okay, a little warp it over here. Again, this is just going to keep the Terran occupying the Terran side of the map. There's not as much that Special can do to push out. And with Trap now maxing out, I think we are going to see Trap try to look for a fight. But even if he doesn't, all he has to do is monitor the other places that haven't been acquired yet by Terran. Even this base is being hit over here, it's almost mined out.
He's just taking damage all over the place at the moment, unfortunately.
Basically, Special, the only thing he has going for him is that base that's kind of towards the center right at the 3 o'clock position on the mini-map here.
It's like DT Blink coming into play now, getting some harassment done. We'll clean that up, it looks like. Again, a pretty scary army, but the Siege Tanks might actually be able to deal with that. Lots of Immortals, God. You know, Immortal versus Siege Tank is kind of funny. It's such a strange battle. Oh my god, he
just sniped CC. Yeah.
Trap is everywhere. Like, you know, Immortals, they feel like they counter Siege Tanks, but when you get enough Siege Tanks, they kind of kill everything on the ground.
Siege Tanks kind of counter everything because they get the first shot always.
Yeah.
And so therefore, no matter how strong that unit is, if you have enough Siege Tanks, it obliterates whatever that target is.
Man, these Blink Stalkers coming in from the side so consistently. Trap is teching up right now as well into either Tempest or Carrier. I'm not even sure which one he would like to go. Feels like he kind of can do anything he wants right now, as long as he can stop this army. That is great positioning too. Look at that positioning. How do you attack that army? You'd have to flank it.
Yeah. The thing is, I think it is attackable here.
Well, let's see. He's actually got this Thor over in the front that's slowing down the rest of the army. But
oh my god! This is totally out. Yeah,
oh
GG.
my god! Whoa!
All right, Trap takes game 1.
Cool game though.
I gotta say, it started out very interesting, but eventually you just see the Trap cements his lead further and further and further until eventually it's hard to imagine how Special can win that game.
Yeah, Trap was very much on top of hitting the angles and the sides that Special was not at, drawing him out of position slightly. We saw those 3 Siege Tanks fall early. We saw a lot of SCVs go down early to the Blink Stalkers as well, and that was a macro build from Trap. It's just that Special was having a hard time covering everything with his mech build.
You know what else we saw? What? Thunderbird.
We saw Thunderbird again.
Thank you. We get to see one of our new maps. Very cool.
Well, another one now. Let's just keep doing them.
GSL Cobalt is going to be our map for game number 2. I don't know. I think Special looked really strong, but Trap definitely had a better idea of what the end game PvT was supposed to look like, at least in our last map. We'll see how it goes here on game 2. This is a completely different map with different parameters you want to watch out for. The game is now loading up. We're here in Group C. Again, this is one of the groups where it's much harder to call, so you want to watch every game very closely. Anyways, game 2 up now. Let's go.
Jin Air Green Wings, Trap. Ocean Gaming. Special.
You know, kind of an interesting game there in a lot of ways. Like, it was very heavily a battle mech composition for a while, but he was having to roam defensively because Trap was hitting every side, every angle, right? He was being very mobile with his forces, and I think that that is absolutely what you don't want to do with the battle mech. You want to be out there forcing engagements and trying to pick off units rather than running around reactively, right?
I also think that it's funny because on paper you look at Stalkers versus mech units, you say, well, that's not going to be very good against mech, right? Ooh, it's a good drawing.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at Stalkers, you say, oh, yeah, this is not an ideal unit comp. Yeah, but they can they're more nimble than the rest of the mech units.
Yeah.
And so the Stalkers get the initiative. They can try to blink in there and do damage. And then you have a mech player that's sort of been countered by that Hellion Cyclone style. Initially, the Hellion Cyclone style, I think, kind of was able to come out and poke. And so you were meching in one direction, but you had this mobile force. But the Stalkers were forcing a lot of those units to stay back and try to defend.
Yeah.
I mean, Blink is about as mobile as you can get for anything ground-related.
Yeah, and picking off those first 3 siege tanks is pretty legit. Like,
yeah,
those are going to be something that you can kind of stick in a spot that's hard for Stalkers to hit, and they can defend area better. But just picking those off really did allow him that mobility to force the battle mech units to stay back. They didn't really do their job. Special, you know, when we did have that one big battle, didn't have many tanks, right? He had been continually building the battle mech. But
I think you're pointing out something that is very key here, Artosis, because we might have had a completely different game had those tanks not been picked off. 3 additional tanks is going to make you a lot stronger in a push and allow you to get in there and probably do some serious damage.
I think specifically the early game defensive capabilities of them against Blink Stalkers might be the most important part that was missing there.
Right.
Yeah, it's a new game now on Cobalt, and they are both on the bottom of the map. Trap scouted special first, so that was kind of nice. Not sure exactly what we're going to end up seeing here, though. Nice micro there.
Okay. Looks like the Adept actually might confirm Shade in here.
Remember when Adepts two-shotted Marines and SCVs?
Yeah.
Without upgrades?
So that's how that looks. The Marine actually wins that fight. Okay.
That's a lot of damage, though. 1 Adept for 2 Marines and the Reaper, and now the Reaper can't scout. That's good stuff.
A Robo coming with 2 more gateways.
The hidden command center. He actually had this prepped for SOS when they played on this map, but did he end up using it there? I can't quite recall.
I think he did, actually.
I think he did, right? I seem to recall a command center that was naked.
Or was it SOS that hit a base?
Oh,
actually?
that's right.
Yeah,
SOS had a Nexus in the top right.
Yeah.
When he was like the bottom left. That's right, yeah.
So this is actually one of the older strategies in all of StarCraft is the hidden base. But because we've had a lot of one-on-one maps, I think bringing this out on a big 4-player map like this is very smart. This map is so disproportionately big to other maps. The odds that Protoss is necessarily going to check the upper left main, there's a chance it just doesn't get checked until it's mined out.
Yeah.
Or it never gets checked even. Now the problem though is that if a Protoss player like Trap is going for aggression, which by the way he is, the base is not only a disadvantage.
Get those in there!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. With the Prism, this can be really, really
this is where you can kind of just move through the defenses and suddenly you have a premium position right where you need it inside the main on top of production. So this game might actually end immediately. But again, he went for a hidden base here, guys.
Yeah, this aggression is doing such a good job because of that. He's lower on everything. Now, if he can make Trap stop, Trap would just leave Special alone.
Stop!
You know, this is a situation where maybe Special can come back because of that hidden base, but this has been a lot of damage so far.
Here's one of the other problems with the hidden bases is that you can't transfer workers there normally, so they don't begin to start mattering for a while. And a lot of times what you do is you land mules exclusively at those bases simply because you want to try to suck up all the minerals there. Better to do that and save that for the minerals somewhere else.
Oh, the Viking might end up getting this if he could. Oh, Vikings need boosts like Medivacs.
He's got to be able to unload it. It's actually going to get away. I can't believe that he actually got that out of there. I thought it was going to be shot down.
Yeah. That's too bad. Well, charge and +1 on the way. I don't... is Trap on top of it enough to look for a hidden command?
You know, the only thing... First of all, you get in there, that's suspect, right? I mean, there's a point in time you say, okay, wow, I really got in there. But, I mean, you're missing buildings at that point in time. Perhaps you could tell that would telegraph that there's something else
there. There was definitely missing minerals, but sometimes it's very hard to see.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, look at all the gates. He's going to have so many aggressive options here.
And, again, SCVs have not been transferred. The orbital was actually started late, by the way, at that third, the hidden base. So it's like special and strategically... even though there are ideas here, mechanically he's not even executing it as fast as he needs to.
I love that Stalker just chilling there. It's great. Okay, I'm trying to figure out, like, how do you win this game as special, right? And again, I don't think it's undoable. He does have that third command center. His bases are going to stay alive a lot longer, like you mentioned, because of the dropping of mules at the other base. So there is a world in which Trap overcommits a couple times, pretty certain that he's going to be able to win or at least have some sort of tempo advantage while he continues to expand. Yep. And if he does that a lot, yeah, that's an area where the hidden base actually can just be the reason why you win. Oh my God, he's going after this.
Okay, he's going for the Bulldog here, dropping the Zealots on top of the tank. Old strat, but this works. This absolutely works, and now he's going to be able to have the warp ins. The Wallen has not been able to close, but he's going to fish that down onto the low ground. And GG, Trap smashes